increase within their existing appropriation, but she is intending to do that.
Okay. Oh, I believe it.
Since 1990?
Yeah.
I didn't believe Carrie's been there that long.
Yep.
They do a good job of keeping up with our stuff. Any other questions, Mr. Fouch?
Just on the police supervisor's salaries, that goes under personal services under the salaries line? Okay, so that's the adjustment there.
It is the amount of salaries and match associated with the raises.
Okay. Seeing no more questions, I'll set that aside. We can always come back if we need to. Let's go to Parks Department. Now, one thing that's not going to show up in Parks that, the accountants can adjust it later, and is that $50,000 extra that I was going to give to the Boys Club, that we were going to contract with the Boys Club. And we have worked the last 3 weeks trying to figure all that out, and let me kind of tell you where that is. We're going to take that $50,000 and transfer it to the Parks Department. So it'll actually show on our budget, it'll show $50,000 transfer to Parks. We all know what it is. It's for Rose City. And Bob has worked through his numbers, and he thinks that if we transfer $50,000, that he can cover the other $60,000 that would be involved to keep Rose City open just exactly like it is today. Okay, so the services that the community's getting from Rose City that's run by the Boys Club will stay the same. After daycare, I think we're even planning on a half a day on Sunday or Saturday, something like that, Bob? Not at this point. But the aftercare program and all that will be the same. We're trying our best to keep the employees that are working for the Boys Club employed. And so we're pleased that, Bob and Tina really worked hard in trying to figure out how to keep that center open. Ms. Robinson?
So will the center still be, Boys and Girls Club, or is it coming back over to the city?
Come back to us.
Come back to us.
Yeah. What we kind of want to get a nod from you tonight, because we got to put it in high gear, because we're gonna the Boys Club is ending their contract January 1st.
Okay.
So we've got to go out and do some emergency hires and all that stuff. So I told Bob I thought we were good to go, but if anybody's got any problem with that, let me know now. If not, we're going to start lining up emergency hires to start work January 1st.
I think we need to move forward on it. I was down there the other day, and there were tons of children playing in the gym and at that club, and we need to do whatever we can to keep it open. So.
I agree. And Isaac is working on some other programs for us, for after-school programs for some of the older kids, the 12-year-olds and up. Mm-hmm. And man, I was at 7th Street Elementary this morning in a I Like Me reading program, and I read and those kids they're so excited to have a program and have adults in there, and they were excited to be there, and we had firemen in there and policemen, and we need to do more of that. And hopefully next year we can come up with some great ideas that along with volunteers and a little bit of money, we can give those kids an opportunity to enjoy the world, if you will. Okay, Parks, y'all have had 2 or 3 weeks to look at Parks budget. Bob, if you want to hang close, if anybody's got questions, I didn't see anything that stuck out when I looked at it, so any thoughts on Parks? Mr. Fouch?
And this is just, I missed this somehow. In the concessions section, the percentage employees, but are these the people who get a commission off the concession sales, or what?
Are you looking at revenues, or what specific line?
It's in the actual budget request. What is it, 1076? That's $3,500. I mean, I'm not squabbling over the amount. I just like to kind of know why you have salaries and then you have what's called a percentage employee.
Okay.
What department?
We have sometimes out at Funland, we would have a person, for instance, if they have a party, would be coming in blowing up balloons, and we do a percentage. In the recreation budget, we have also the gymnastics program that's set up on that percentage. We get 30%, they get 70. So those are the kind of things those are.
Okay, and I just wasn't sure how you delineated, that was all. Thank you.
Ms. Robinson?
The rentals, this is on, excuse me, fund revenue, number 6268, rentals. Are those numbers kind of low?
Okay, there's various line items that are rentals. Let me look at this one. We break them out, whether they're parks, recreation, and let's see which ones those are.
You see where I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
See, we have the pavilions, we have Idlewild, we have the hospitality house, and some of those are broken out separately.
Okay.
This one may be for the recreation centers. And so I would have to, let me do a little cross-check here and I can tell you.
Do you know what that is, Karen?
Okay, what's the number?
6268, I'm sorry.
And the reason why I was asking is that I know one center is renting out every Sunday morning, you know, to 2 or 3 churches. you
Right.
know, and that's a pretty good block.
Yeah, that particular line item is under room rental 6231. That's the
Okay.
centers.
Okay,
The one that you're mentioning is under concessions,
okay,
and that's, could be, well, we have one ball field. I don't think that's it, but it's just some minor, something in the concession area.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, room rentals at rec centers is 50 grand.
Right. Correct.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Ms. Ross?
And just the summer food program, is it under somewhere else? or
Yes,
what's the-
well, what happened on that, we were actually doing that program ourselves, hiring staff, transporting the food ourselves, and now we've done it based on a contract. So we were breaking even on that, just doing it ourselves, and then now there's several groups that do that, and so we've contracted out to one of those.
Mr. Height?
Mr. Rhodes, I had a opportunity to have a lengthy discussion with Ian and Jeff Kaplinger on a recent trip, and during that discussion, the park ranger Ian brought up to my attention that he may have asked you for consideration for a piece of equipment that would help us in maintaining the trail next year. Is that in the budget anywhere?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
But also to let you know, one of the trail groups is also working with us to raise money to maybe even get a better piece of equipment or to get the machine or the, I can't even think, anyway, the little vehicle to pull it.
But it's on our radar screen then?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good, thank you.
You know, I talked to Bob Steele today over at KARN Radio, and Bob's a big golfer and likes to play out at Burns Park, and he said it's amazing the difference that Shep the dog's made in the mess out there on the golf course. So we need to make sure that Shep lives a long, healthy life. Ms. Robinson?
I was just going to ask, how much are the fees now for membership at the community centers?
Okay, well, we have a $15 annual membership, but we also have involved in that, if you meet a certain level, I don't remember the exact level on your grade cards, we'll waive that.
Okay,
And then now the fees, there'll be fees for after-school program, which is $15 a month and then Boys Club, as comparison, theirs is now $65 for the school year, so ours is a little bit more, but we allow the monthly payment.
thank you.
Ms. White?
What's the status of the Christmas lights, all the ones from Burns Park? What's going on with them?
Okay, we made the decision no longer to have the Christmas lights. I think a memo finally went out to departments if they want, before we sell any of them, if there's a department or they want to use them for the new little festival you have here, they can. We're just telling everyone, they take them, you put them up, you take them down. We'll help the first year to get you going, because you've got to check your power. What took us so long is they use different power levels, but that's being asked to the different departments that may want to have a displays.
Is
One,
Santa's elf, are we using, or have we asked to borrow any of those for the Northern Lights Festival? You might look at what Bob and them have left over, and if it could fits into our decor of, you know, if not this year, next year, let's don't let them get away. That's why.
just one more piece of that. So if another department takes it or whoever takes it, you're not storing them anymore. Everybody's responsible to store them themselves.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions on parks, Ms. Ross?
The improvements in the different areas, I know Idlewild Park has some improvement schedule. I
Yeah,
don't really know where to look under this.
Yeah, Idlewild, it's
Is it under a capital improvement somewhere, or?
Yes, the 400 budget capital improvements under miscellaneous parks. There's 83,000 for Idlewild Party House. Revenue has gone down there, but that facility is aged. We're going to also, we do have handicap access to the park itself, but we're going to make handicap accessibility to that building and we need some roof work and some other things. So there's 83,000 budget for that.
I'm sorry, where did you say that is in the budget? I don't have that.
At least.
Okay. I turned it in.
Mr. Brown, how old is that building? I know it's at least 57 years old.
Don't,
God, it was here when I moved to North Little Rock. I mean, just,
Originally, it was YMCA.
I'll get you one.
yeah, I know, yeah. I was a member. Me and the mayor were, the former mayor.
Just so it's in there, that's
I'm
all.
sorry,
I just
no,
wanna make sure that
there,
it's in there.
yeah, somehow, we don't know why it didn't get in the budget.
You want to go over to the office, Danny, and see if you can make him a copy or two and pass those out, and we
Let me
can
look for sure.
go on to other things while we're waiting on that.
I've written all over this one, but you're glad to have it.
Oh,
Ms. Robinson?
I'm looking at number 2087, trying to get a heading for you. Let me go back a page. Park, I guess it's under park maintenance. Number 2087, it says supplies, our club. And where is our club located? Is it at one of the centers or what?
Okay, you're actually on recreation.
Recreation, yes, park recreation.
2087?
2087. Let me, I'm not sure this is what's happened. Somehow we have renamed some of these, but for some reason, there were a few line items, and I caught one and I brought it to Ms. Scott's attention, but this one, it's not our club because we don't call it our club anymore. We used to have an our club program at Glenview, and then we expanded and they no longer work with us and we do it ourselves.
Okay,
And it may be miscellaneous or something like that, I'm not really sure. But there's no longer an R club.
okay, thank you.
Program of such is still there.
I'll have to check what it is.
The program of such is still there, Bob, right?
Well, we have a program that's an expanded program for what was there.
Yeah. Ms. Ross?
One more, the after-school snacks is also being contracted out too?
Yes.
Is that- Okay, I didn't mark that one.
And the Boys Club is actually using the same people we are. Well, actually, we used to feed, when we did it ourselves, we even did the Boys Club. We provided the food for them.
Okay, other comments? Why don't we, Bob, if you'll have a seat and wait for those copies to come out, we'll go on into electric, and then we can flip back to, well, let's go ahead, we got them right now.
Well, we just,
Fast copier.
Yeah, Bob, just stay up here, we pass these out and let everybody look at them real quick, and then. While we're passing those out, this is my plan, is to Monday night to have a public hearing at 6 o'clock. Or at 5:30, we're going to have a presentation from Electric and TEA at 5:30. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll start the regular council meeting and have a public hearing on the budget. We have a piece of legislation that's filed in blank. It didn't matter, 6 1 half dozen others, so we went ahead and filed it. What we'll do is, for the first meeting in December, we'll have another public hearing at 6 o'clock on the budget, and then it will be my intention to amend in the budget to the legislation and attempt to vote on it first meeting in December. So,
Golf course.
golf course?
I've got a question.
Sure, go ahead.
I know that, you know, we were given a portion or the golf course out.
Stone Links?
Stone Lakes.
Mm-hmm. Stone Links. So this golf course that's in the budget is just basically Burns Park, and it does not include that
That's
one out
correct.
that
It's
way.
Burns Park.
That's correct.
Okay.
And that's for cart paths and some fairway work. They
Okay.
have some cart paths that are breaking up that need some work
You
on
tell me, he's on the Capitol. Yeah.
the Capitol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Debbie?
On here, the miscellaneous neighborhood parks, it has Idlewild and then MH's. I'm assuming, is that Military Heights or is that a PH?
That was Military Heights,
Okay,
and that was planned to be sidewalks and some asphalt, which we were able to go ahead and do sidewalks this year, so it can still be something for Military Heights.
okay. So they're not, it's not necessarily broken down in this 83,000? We don't have it completely broken down yet? Is
No,
that
well,
okay.
Maybe it's 70, there's 10,000 for Military Heights,
Okay.
and then the rest is 73, I guess, for is for Idlewild.
Does Military Heights include a fence? Weren't they wanting a
The-
fence on one side of that, on the north
Military
side?
Heights and Park Hill both do want a fence.
Long-term, it's just when we can
Right.
find
I know
them.
Park Hill's been on every year. They've been there for, I don't know how many years, requesting a fence.
Fence
on-
between, yeah.
At Crestwood, down along the interstate there by the hotel, that they've requested for years,
No, they're at Cherry Hill, and
at the bottom of the hill.
why do they want a fence there?
The motel there, there's quite a few
Wander up that way?
at night. Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rose, what are we doing on the disc golf course? I know we've got like 92 holes out there.
We're adding cages, 16 this year, and taking, for next year would be 16 of those, and then taking the best baskets that are left and moving them to the other course. And then, so there's actually 2 courses.
That's become fairly popular, hasn't it? I mean, they've been
Yes.
holding tournaments there and bringing people in
Yes.
from out of state, out of city, yeah.
Mayor, I noticed they're like runners and not bikers. They're out there in any weather.
Yeah.
Really? Questions on parks? Okay, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go into electric. Do basically the same thing. Y'all have had time to look at it, so
Make me some holes.
Jason and James both are here, so. Very complicated budget, but I think they've done a great job putting this thing together. Questions
Just a
on
minute.
electric?
Just a minute. Yes, I have some questions.
Go.
It's on page 4, new materials storage. Last year we had 520,000 in there, and this year we've got 400,000. Did we start it? Have we not finished it, or?
We haven't started.
Okay, so,
That's
Not
loud.
start that project this year. We done some investigating. I think we spent probably 5,000. We should have some bids in after the first of the year.
okay, so are you carrying over the 520 from last year?
Yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is refine that number. I think there was
Yeah, it's gonna be
confusion
low.
about, because actually I think that the number is going to be north of $520,000 to get that built. I don't think it's going to go down. I think it's going to go up.
Right, 'cause it's
And that number
400.
needs to be refined between now and the time that's submitted for a final budget.
Okay, because it's at 400 right now.
On the
Yeah.
initial investigation, we got a lot of field work to do, and we were hoping to use some of our dirt, but that's not going to be practical. So we're going to have to bring some clay and stuff like that in.
Bill? Okay.
Will you have that figure adjusted before first meeting in December?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I still have the floor?
Excuse me?
Do I still have the floor? You want me to keep
Absolutely.
going?
Go right
I got a
ahead.
list.
Floor's all yours.
Okay. On page 2, weed control, 15,000. I would think that that would be, I know as many times as Ward 1 calls about the weeds and stuff along, I would think that 15,000 for weed control would be much higher than 15,000.
I'm sorry, which line?
Weed control, it's on page 2.
Well, this.
What line?
I'm getting
540,
there.
530, 520?
I'm getting there.
Question about.
Okay, it's, how is this broken down? It's under the request by location, page 2,
530 and 530s.
line 530.
Yep.
Yeah. There's ground maintenance,
What line?
Well, it's been removed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
530-010.
yeah, the hole's punched in my number, so I don't. So, I mean, there's not any request for the 15,000 for this year, so I didn't know if it was moved over somewhere else, or,
No, we have quite a bit of stock on some Roundup and some bare ground that we decided to go ahead and
oh.
not
so you
purchase
didn't
any
need
this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But Debbie, I think part of your answer on that too, where you may have gotten some questions from people, is that number just relates to substation maintenance. So that's not
Oh,
like
okay.
maintenance of right-of-ways and all that other. That's,
Okay.
that's separate. Those are separate funds.
That's just inside the fence of our stations and around some distribution equipment out in
Okay,
the
so
field.
that has nothing to do with what
that's
Oki,
separate.
what Oki does, it has nothing, because we
Right,
bug
that's
Oki to
separate.
death about that, so, okay, all right, good.
That's covered in the tree trimming budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, that's, okay. You know, the city, we recently did the contract with Napa, and I was looking on, on page 5 under, what is this? Total transportation, under transportation. Is that something that the electric department has looked at possibly?
I know, I talked to Ron, and I don't know, you may want to address that more. But
A bunch of our equipment is really specialized, especially the hydraulics and the hydraulic fluid that we use. And when a truck breaks down, we want the ability to go right then to Crow Burlingame or whoever that has that particular hose or part and replace it at that time, so.
We looked into that, and the volume was not there to warrant a.
Are they able to use the cities if they wanted to?
Yeah, we could do that, but they'd have to drive all the way down here to our parks department to get it.
True.
Well,
Well, they're probably driving somewhere to get it anyway, all right?
On those bigger trucks, what we do is, we do the maintenance and oil and filter changes and things like that, but if it gets into the bigger stuff, we sub it out.
Oh, sure, yeah. I was just on the.
People we usually deliver parts, we don't have to go get them, waste our.
Right,
2 hours.
okay. I was just curious if that had been looked into.
Yeah, Ms. White?
Sorry about that. I was just, based on his question, do you do your own oil changes out there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. We don't do those. I thought you meant they came back here and did it. Thank you.
And this is just where we are on Benny Keith generator, the generation for Benny Keith, because we've, just curious. Have we got our money, or where are we, or? I know it was grant, a lot of it was grant money.
Right, so more than half of the money in that project are grant funds that are, it's part of economic incentive from the state of Arkansas and also some general improvement fund money. And then we've got funds that are allocated with it too. You know, I'm optimistic that this is going to be a good project for us. You know, that we're going to have natural gas capacity out there, that we can use it, you know, as a peak shaver, if you will, you know, to kind of lower our cost of power when power is most expensive. But separate and apart from that, I see it as a reliability factor, kind of an emergency services thing for the city. You know, if bad things really happen around here, we want Benny Keith, who's got all the food, to have electricity.
Exactly.
So we want them to be able to preserve that. So really, it's good for the electric department, it's good for Benny Keith, it's good for, you know, the community as a whole. So we're pretty excited about the project. It's still moving forward. We've gotten some pricing on some generators. I know Mr. Bray's dug neck deep into you know, the mechanics of making all that happen, and how the systems are going to work and how the switches are going to work, and exactly where we're at on that.
Well, we're waiting for some firm loading from Benny Keith so we can size the generators. We're borderline of where we have to step it up to a 2 full megawatt generator, or if we can get by with 2 1s instead of 2 2s. So as soon as we get that firm loading in, we'll probably be making a request to Caterpillar for some good numbers.
But we're not behind on that project. That project is going according to plan right now.
Want me to keep going?
Sure.
You know, it's always been one of my things that for every fire station, police stations, to have backup generators. Is this something that we, you know, working with the electric department or something that could be put in the budget somewhere? I don't know. That's still one of the things, and I know that Chief Murphy is, you know, looking at grant funding and different things like that, but
certainly we can look at it. You know, the last time we looked into that was maybe a couple of years ago. The dollar figures were just coming back too high to warrant it. This was like $78,000 a fire station or something, and to that times 11, you know, is pretty pricey. So we kind of put it on the shelf. If you want to bring it back out, we can look at it again. You know, it happens so seldom. I just hate to spend that kind of money because if, let's say, a fire station lost their power, we can relocate them if we had to. And so it's not like they have to stay there. They could be moved somewhere else. They could share another fire station somewhere else. If it was temporary, you know, they can hand crank their doors open and things like that. So it's just hard to spend $800,000. If we could, you know, we talked about, and I don't know that Chief Murphy and I have ever talked about this, but this was prior to Chief Murphy, about putting generators in there that would just do lights and the doors, and it might be a lot cheaper. So, you know, we can certainly look into that for next year.
My thing, I know it's expensive, if we just do one a year, we're going to get there. You know, just start chipping away at it, you know, one by that elephant at a time. And it's not just a fire, I mean, it's a safe zone for residents. I know that, you know, during the ice storms and snowstorms, they've had individuals coming in there that, you know, seeking shelter or refuge or something, want to try to call someone, and they have no power. So, you know, it's also something for the community too. It's not just the fire, it's a whole community issue there.
Well, why don't we ask Chief Murphy to address that, you know, and come back to us in 90 days and tell us what you think. And then, you know, maybe we can adjust the budget and do one, you know, next year.
I mean, if the police and fire can fund those projects, we'd love to partner with them to use it for peak shaving.
Yeah. You let them buy $1 million
Why not?
generator.
Why not? I mean, if we're going to do it with Benny Keith, why don't we do it with the fire department?
Good idea.
Yeah. Are you through, Debbie? Ms. White? Ms. Ross?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Are there portable generators?
No.
They're not. No, these are built-in gas.
Yeah, there's no such
These out there at
No,
Benny Keith?
do they exist?
Oh, yeah, the portable ones do. I mean, you
Yeah.
go to Home Depot and buy,
It's not what you need.
Mayor, do we have any mobile units that we could move
That's what I was.
to the station?
We had a couple, and they were too big. They were the ones, believe it or not, off of the submarine. And so we didn't keep those, we sold those. And the company out there at North Shore, if we had some problems like that, you can rent them. And I don't know if we've got a contract with them.
No, we don't.
We don't. To supply us with generators on trailers. But we don't have a contract with them. We did at one time. I'd be willing to bet that we had a contract with them. Kind of like we do on construction or debris, storm debris removal. We have a contract. Wouldn't hurt for us to check on that. Chief Bradley, could you do that? Check on a contract with the generator people out at North Shore, that they would give us first priority in the event that we had to rent their mobile generators. Okay, we kind of got off electric here for a minute. Are you back on electric?
No, I'm still on generators. That's always been my thing, is the generators. No, I just want to add thing, on the portable generators, bringing them out, you better have them out there before the ice storm hits, because getting them out there in the middle of an ice storm, I know we've had that problem too before. Someone will have one, but they can't get it there, so that's a
Well, that presents a problem to us when people start hooking those portables up without the right protection on the meter. They can backfeed, they're generating 120, they can backfeed it through a transformer, and we'd have 4160, 13.8 kV on our people that thought the line was dead.
right.
So
It's dangerous, very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, we don't encourage anybody to use a portable generator unless it's directly into their appliances. Right, James?
correct.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Ross, back on electric, and if you want to come back to generators later, we can.
No, I'm good.
Okay, you good with electric?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody else good with electric?
I'm good.
Okay, any other questions or thoughts on the budget as a whole that we need to work on or get ready for between now and the first meeting in December? Ms. Ross?
Well, I have one more thing that I should have brought this sooner. I don't know, because we've been looking at the money, and on Lakeview, between Lake 2 and Lake 3, on the south side, which would be on Lake 1, the guardrails along there are in major disrepair. They're the old wooden that are knocked over. Safe. We've priced them thinking, okay, well, maybe we can do this out of ward funding, and I think the last pricing was like $75,000 for that one side. That's a whole year of our funding.
Got it.
So, oh, Ward 3's going to split it with us?
All right, let's say you're going from your house to North Hills. Are you talking about on the right?
The right side,
Okay.
yes.
Hey, look, we'll look at it. Chris, will you make a note to do that? You know what she's talking about?
Chris, they've already they've priced it for us. I mean, this is something we've been looking at for several years, and it's just.
That seems awfully high, doesn't it?
Metal's expensive.
Yeah, well, look at it again.
It's a long.
Let's see.
Well, and I think also the train, the installation, if you look at it, it's straight down there too, so that was part of it. But.
Okay, well, we'll look at it.
That's something, if we can look in the budget or whatever, but it needs to be done, safety reasons. Right. I know, but it's our whole budget for the year.
It's on our list for 2016?
Yeah, we've had this on our ward projects forever.
Oh, okay.
So, but, when.
There's just not enough money there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's look at it, and maybe if it's reasonable, we might be able to do that. Bob?
I wanted to say I'd missed some numbers. It's 75,000 for Idlewild and 8,000 for Military Heights.
Okay.
So, in case people heard that.
Thank you.
Okay, getting ready to adjourn this budget hearing, unless I hear from anybody. Okay, everybody okay? All right, we're gonna have a public hearing, Ms. Whitby, Monday, and then we're gonna have another public hearing on the 14th. Good? Okay. Thanks, everybody, for your time today.
Apologize for my tardiness, Mayor.
5:30,
You were fine.
Monday, 5:30, there's a